Making the game easier, that's our target for this new series of physical limitation. So if you've got a slight injury or you've got a slight restriction somewhere, it's trying to work our way around it, so how you approach that. So what we covered so far is your knee, so if you haven't seen that one, click on the link below. So today we're covering the lead arm, the external rotation of that arm. So you might have a shoulder injury, you might have a slight restriction there. If you don't know you've got a restriction, quite a simple test, it's a 90-90 test. Stand up nice and tall, get your posture, arm straight out, parallel to the ground, bend it at the elbow so it's a 90 position, and then rotate back and see how far you go. Pain is when you stop, so don't go beyond your pain. You know, don't try and bust the gut to get past your spine angle. You're trying to get to the spine angle. That would be an efficient range of motion. So the next part of the test is then to go into your posture position, stick your arm out the same, bend at the elbow, and then you're trying to match the previous one. So your previous one, if that was to your spine angle, when you do your posture position, the thoracic spine comes involved, and then you've got to try and match that one. So if you fail that test, if you find that very difficult, that is a potentially massive reason why you're not releasing the club down and you're keeping the club face open on the way through, which can cause that big shot off to the right, then the loss of swing path, and things escalate from there. So if you then find it very difficult to loosen that shoulder up and you haven't got the time, you haven't got the money, you haven't got the energy to put into that, but you still want to hit a better golf shot, then there's two ways to attack that, which I will talk you through now. So our first one is to make sure you do a bigger turn on the way through, on that downswing, on that follow through, really turn those hips through and those shoulders through, so really turn through that shot. So if you've got that lead arm, that lead shoulder that's not rotating, if you get the body to turn around enough, that will help the club face rotate through the ball. I mean, you've got one of the best players in the world that does that, a very similar technique to that, Jordy Spieth. I mean, he does pretty good. I mean, he's a pretty steady player, to say the least. So that is quite effective, so to make sure you've got that bigger turn, so you're going for that big turn through that shot, so then that will help square that club face up on the way through as you hit that shot down there. But it's got to be a very big turn, so all the way through, you've got to make sure you drive that bottom half and that top half through, which will get that club rotating around your body, which will then help square that club face up. So you've got to do a big drive on the way through, which will help square that club face up, even with your slight chicken wing on the way through, which is leaving that club face open. You've got to make sure you really drive through that shot. So number one is basically a bigger turn. Make sure you get a bigger turn. The energy is driving through, you're driving through the shot with the club towards that target. Number two, if we struggle for that big turn, which not everyone's going to be able to do that big turn, you're not necessarily just going to have one physical restriction. Normally there's 2 or 3 things on the go. So you've got a bad shoulder, bad knee, bad hip, various different elements that's going to potentially restrict that big turn. So the next bit to do, so you've got that difficult with that shoulder, is then to make the grip a bit stronger. So your lead hand, just increase the knuckles on it. So say if you're looking at 1.5 to 2 knuckles at the moment, you've got to put that up to at least 3 knuckles, and then put that right hand, the bottom hand, in sync with it, so the V will be more pointing at the elbow rather than the shoulder. Just experiment with that to see how much that will close that club face on the way through. So making that stronger grip will help close that club face as you hit that ball down there. It'll make a huge difference. Along with, you've still got to try that body turn. You've still got to make sure you turn through. But if you're restricted on that, you've just combined those two together. So that stronger grip will help close that club face on the way through, combined with a bit of a turn, and then you should be up and running. Reduce that shot to the right, and you shouldn't need to worry about frustration of trying to release that club down there when the shoulder won't allow you. Any questions or comments, please send them through. Any part of the body that you think you've got an injury, you've got a restriction in, send that request through and I'll do that for you. Give it a good thumbs up, click the logo in the screen there to subscribe, click the video there to see our next video, and I'll see you soon.